This particular Saturday evening, I ended up doing what I sometimes do, and that is jump into a project and just see if I can get it knocked out as quickly as possible. I was just a little irritated with why I felt the need to do this project in such a hurry, and that reason is because I'm trying to address one of my lifelong tendencies, which is to collect stuff that I don't want to get rid of. For some reason, I always think that I'll have a use for a few random screws or some part or piece of something that I know one day I'll need when the right situation presents itself. The only trouble is when the right situation shows up, I have no idea where I put the screws or pieces that I thought I could make use of. That seems to be only getting worse as I get older, too. So I need to do a little spring cleaning on this winter evening. I'm building a set of storage shelves and am bound and determined to get them finished in a couple of hours tonight. But the real purpose of the shelves is not to give me more permanent storage, but some temporary storage, so that everything I put on the shelves ultimately has to have a decision made about it as to whether or not it's something worth keeping, and therefore finding a permanent place for storing it, or is it something I just need to get rid of once and for all. The basic idea for my shelf supports reminds me of the days when toys for kids were often made from wood rather than bought from stores. The front shelf support pieces will be a little like stilts, with each level of wood block supporting the front edge of one of the shelves. This makes it a fast and easy way to put up a bunch of shelves without a lot of effort. I thought about routing a dado in all these block lines, but again, for my purposes, that extra effort is really not necessary. So if I can make these shelves an ongoing reminder of stuff I need to clear out of the shop, hopefully I'll end up getting rid of some of the things I don't need and cataloging the stuff I want to keep so that I may actually use it one day. My intention for my shop is to build storage units that have drawers and doors so that the sawdust that accumulates over time doesn't cover everything that's stored on open shelves. With everything enclosed indoors and drawers, then the shop stays cleaner and easier to clean. So units like this, which I built in a video linked in the corner, are really what I'm after. These things are mobile on casters so that I can rearrange and reorganize their locations as needed. Plus, they're useful for holding lots of items I want to keep and keep track of. Alright, I said my goal was 2 hours start to finish on this project. I started about 8 o'clock and we were finished about 10:15. Fortunately for me, my son Ryan happened to be around, and with his help we kept things flowing pretty well. The front support pieces, or stilts in this case, need to have the back support pieces screwed to the wall to hold the shelves in place. We set up a laser to help us get the right line height on the wall, and by taking the stilts and putting them against the wall and marking the line at the top of the blocks, that showed us where we needed to set the laser. Then by locating the studs in the wall, we were able to secure the back support pieces very quickly. You know, there is an advantage to being the dad in situations like this. Now, certainly someone needs to think and plan, and someone needs to be on the ladder doing the work. So since this idea came out of my head, I think it's probably good that I be the thinker-planner, which means I only get on the ladder when I absolutely have to. Plus, Ryan is good with tools and is in great shape anyway, so this arrangement's probably best for everybody. Hey Ryan, I do have about a 2-hour time limit on this, so you may need to pick up your pace just a little bit. All right, time for me to pull my weight. I had an extra sheet of 3/4 inch particle board that I cut into thirds for 3 of our shelves, which were 16 inches deep. So since the particle board is manufactured an inch larger than the typical 4x8 sheet of material, the 49-inch width of the particle board gave us the 16 inches right on the money, with just a little drop piece left over. So now there's just a little teamwork involved in getting the shelves in position and screws positioned to hold the shelves and front support stilts in place. One thing we're doing is pre-drilling screw holes in all of our particle board shelves. Particle board is notoriously bad about breaking out when you run a screw or drive a nail into it without having a pilot hole for your fastener to go into. Since this shelf design is not heavy on a lot of structural support, it is a good idea for us to pre-drill everything before putting it together. Although I wouldn't hesitate to put pretty heavy items on these shelves. structurally they will hold anything that I intend to put on them. So with the back support brackets screwed into the studs, our shelving screwed into the back support brackets, and our front stilt supports attached to the shelves, they are basically ready for use. This little 2-hour project, which has given me quite a bit of storage space, if it's ultimately going to be a success for me, it will be because I've used it to go through all of my stuff and basically thin out and potentially wipe out a lot of items I've collected in the construction business over many years, so that I end up with items I have a reasonable chance of making use of and also have a pretty good idea of where that stuff is. But in the process, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff that is junk to me and is only taking up space. But ultimately, success will be to have the shelves torn back down and for them to be replaced with mobile storage carts on wheels that give me a lot of opportunity to make constructive use of my shop. Some of you may say, well, Rusty, you're just becoming a minimalist. Well, maybe so. But folks in my generation probably just say we're getting rid of our junk. Here are other videos you may find interesting and helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up with other projects that are going on around Dobbs Workshop.